Hey guys, happy Monday! So I thought it would be really fun today to look at some classic juvenile fiction and revisit some very different but very awesome books that I actually remember from childhood and are now considered classics. The first book I'm going to recommend is Matilda by Roald Dahl, and I know a lot of you have seen this book, but oh my goodness, friends, this was one of my favorite books growing up. I love this book so much. Matilda is a sweet, exceptional young girl, but her parents think that she's just a nuisance. Matilda actually plans and executes several brilliant and hilarious pranks on her parents. Do not try them at home, friends. Finally, she's able to go to school and she meets Miss Honey, her amazing teacher. We learn that Matilda is a genius. She expects school to be different from home, but there she has to face Miss Trunchbull, a menacing, kid-hating headmistress. And when Matilda is attacked by the Trunchbull, she suddenly discovers she has a remarkable power with which to fight back. She has something called telekinetic powers. It will take a superhuman genius to give Miss Trunchbull what she deserves, and Matilda may be the one to do it. As I said, friends, I remember loving this book when I was growing up, and it was such a joy to go back and visit Matilda this week. She's funny, but she's also a bookworm just like me, and I really identified with her when I was younger. And it's also one of my favorite book to movie adaptations. I love Matilda, and I'm so happy to recommend her today. So that's Matilda by Roald Dahl. The next book a lot of you might be familiar with, but this book was one of my all-time favorites when I was growing up, and I still remember when my mom took me to see the movie of it in theaters because it became a movie. I was pretty young, but I remember it becoming a movie, and it's just one of my favorite books, and it was such a joy to go back and visit India this week. So I'm going to recommend Because of Winn Dixie by Katie Camillo. So on a hot summer day, 10-year-old India Opal Baloney, by the way, I love the name, goes to her local supermarket for groceries, and she ends up coming home with a dog. But Winn Dixie is no ordinary dog. It's because of him that Opal begins to make friends. These really amazing, colorful characters who teach her something very different every time. So Opal spends all of that summer collecting stories from her new friends and thinking about her mom, who left when she was a little girl. And it's because of Winn Dixie that Opal's dad agrees to tell her 10 things about her mom. And it's probably because she's grown that Opal learns to let go just a little, and that friendship and forgiveness can sneak up on you. This book is a classic to me, friends, because of its themes. It's just a timeless story, but it's also funny and it will make you laugh. I remember loving this book, as I said, when I was growing up, and I was so excited to revisit Opal this week. This book is definitely perfect for dog lovers, but I think if you love stories, it would be great too. Every character and person that India meets in this book has an amazing backstory, and you really get to see where they came from. It's just a great book, friends, and I can't recommend it highly enough. So that is Because of Winn Dixie by Katie Camillo. Okay, so the next book I'm going to recommend is definitely an old book, but it is such a good book, friends, and it was one of my favorite books when I was growing up, and I loved getting to revisit it this week. That is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Mary Lennox is a young English girl who returns to England from India after she loses both of her parents. Mary goes to live with her uncle at Misselthwaite Manor in the gloomy Yorkshire, which is very different from the sunny and warm climate she was used to. After getting adjusted to her new home, Mary begins to explore the grounds. She discovers a walled garden which is always kept locked, and after she explores a bit more, she finds the key to the garden. With the help of two unexpected companions, Mary discovers a way in and becomes determined to bring the garden back to life. So as I said, friends, I loved this book when I was growing up, and it's still one of my favorites. And I love all the movie adaptations of it. And I was actually really excited to find out that it's becoming a movie again. So I bought books, and I bought a new copy of The Secret Garden because I don't know if you can tell, but this copy has been with me since I was a little girl, and it's definitely well loved. And I'm pretty sure one of my rabbits took a bite out of one of the corners. So I saw this new copy of the book, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I love it. I have to have it. And when I got home, I realized that it actually is the cinematic novel for the new movie. So I read it and I absolutely loved it and I thought it was so great and it made me even more excited to see the new movie. So I think this would be a really fun place to start, friends. It's such a great book in the cinematic version too, and the pictures in the middle of the book are just beautiful and it made me so excited to see this movie. I can't wait for it to come out. So that is the cinematic version of The Secret Garden, and then this is the classic version of The Secret Garden. So I know what you're thinking, friends, and you're like, Ms.Brie, where can I get these books? I'm going to tell you. You can get Matilda as an ebook or an audiobook on eLibrary and J. You can get Because of Winn Dixie on eLibrary and J as an ebook. And then you can get The Secret Garden classic version on eLibrary and J as an ebook. And then we're going to go to Hoopla, and you can get The Secret Garden classic and cinematic version as an ebook. And you can get Because of Winn Dixie on Hoopla as an ebook. Friends, it was such a blast walking down memory lane and exploring some classic juvenile literature with you today. I hope you have a wonderful week and be sure to let me know what you're reading in the comments. Have a great week, friends. See you soon.